Welcome back. This is Videohead Cleaner. My name is Tommy, and we have part 3 of our review of what happened on Monday coming up. So hide your siblings behind the wall because here we go.
However, Joe and team are hot on their trail, though, as like almost immediately as they've made their way into the server room, Adrian and Tuesday, the Joe and team are right behind them, and a gunfight starts ensuing between Adrian and the agents.
Yeah.
We see Thursday Karen in the bathroom, where Monday comes in behind her, also dressed as Karen Setman, and Monday remarks Thursday has never worn Karen so well, and that Monday herself does Karen justice, while Thursday only pretends on this stuff, and it gets very intra-sister, like, we since this has been brewing for years at this point, essentially.
Monday is clearly claiming some ownership over the persona, and Thursday balks at this. This is where we discovered where the gun has gone. Monday, in fact, has the big honking revolver pulls it on Thursday in the bathroom, which definitely takes Thursday aback. For sure.
Right, because she couldn't find it in the safe. Thursday's the one that was looking. It was like, where the fuck is this gun? And it's like, oh, it's with you.
The betrayal is starting to become
there are layers of this betrayal, frankly, for sure. As the server room fight continues, we see Joe leave to go get to Cayman. He's like, I can go protect her. You deal with this. I'm sure you'll do great at it. But the other 3 agents are tasked with keeping Tuesday away from the servers. So right as Joe leaves, one of the agents immediately pushes a row of servers over. I don't know if she was just waiting to do this. It was like, my supervisor's gone. No! But she's like, this seems like a harebrained idea.
Domino power activate.
Keep them away from the servers means push all of the servers over and then just knock them down. But there's just a row. I guess that's one way to do things, I suppose.
I guess it's kind of an escalation of Friday pushing the bookshelves over on the guards before. The goons are getting some payback by pushing the servers over onto them, or trying to.
Talk about the mummy, the bookshelf crashing scene of a...
Deadly with knowledge, exactly.
We go back to Monday and Thursday. There's going to be a lot of jumping back in these scenes. There's a server room going on. There's the whole Monday-Thursday showdown, and then there is Cayman's speech gallop thing going on. So there's a lot of rapid cuts, but we're back to Monday and Thursday, where Monday argues that she did everything right, while she never saw Thursday make any sacrifices for the greater good of any of them.
This is maybe the... And I've said this throughout while we're talking about this. This film has these moments where the characters are discussing something, but it's not the truth that you think that they're discussing. And Monday is giving... she's justifying what she's doing. She's talking about, I did this for our family, and I didn't think that things would get this out of hand and whatnot. And we, the audience, think she did this to somehow protect her sisters. We don't really know what she means. And by it getting out of hand, we, the audience, think that she's talking about what's happened to her sisters again.
And she says she did everything she could to protect this family, her family.
Without saying exactly what she means by that. And Thursday, however, is talking about family meaning the sisters.
Yeah, she scoffs. She's like, you have a funny way of showing it if you're protecting our family.
Yeah, and so it's maybe like, do we get a little hint that are they talking about the same thing? I don't know. There seems to be this almost linguistic conflict, and it's just like maybe they're not talking about the same thing.
But I also don't know how much Monday even knows about the Child Allocation Bureau and like the shadow that's over it.
It's fair.
Because why would Nicolette Cayman tell her her broker or this donor anything about the inner workings of the bureau? If I was Nicolette, I would just use her for the money, and that would be it, because that's what I want out of it.
I mean, she thinks her sisters are going to cryopods.
Exactly.
I guess,
so your sisters just get to live in the future while you go out as the one and only Karen Sedman. That sounds like a good deal. Like you personally get the best of all the world. Your sisters don't all have to live together, but they can in the future just without you. You're fine with that.
That is true. That is true. Monday does not understand the terrible secret at the heart of all this.
And so when she's like, "Oh, it just got out of control," you're just like, "Fuck," because you just say one thing and that snowballs, and you're to a point where you can't pull out. You are not allowed to pull out without you perhaps dying yourself.
And it perhaps suggests why Nicolette Kamen was so critical of Monday and her portrayal, because she knows what happens to those who supposedly go to cryosleep. And so she knows what a portrayal this is in a way that Monday does not.
And it's thrown right in Monday's face, because Thursday immediately she says, "You have a funny way of showing, that you're protecting this family," because she lists out Sunday died in my arms, Wednesday fell to her death, which is a weird way of classifying somebody being shot in the head. But then she says Saturday was shot in the head, and Friday she trails off. But I imagine she wanted to say exploded or something maybe there. But but just goes through it all. And Monday, that's when she's like, things got out of control after a deal with Kamen, and it's clearly a bit emotional and shook, which I don't even know if I did classify at the time, probably because she was like, that's what happened to my sisters. Like I thought I'm here in protective custody and you guys were getting rounded up and putting into cryopods or something.
But also she's talking about falling in love with Adrian. Like she never thought it would get out of control. She as we might imagine, they have this relationship, and she didn't think that it would be a thing, but like he had a picture of them on his mantle, like they had a relationship. It became more than their crazy existence could really accommodate, And
at some point, like if you want to pursue that relationship even further, you have to break away from your sisters, because ultimately the end goal for the sisters is all of them living together until they die of old age. There is no room for significant others, no room to live or to move somewhere else to live with someone that you love, because they're one person.
Yeah, well, and as we're getting so close to that point in the film, we discover something in fact happened that caused Monday to need to break away.
Yeah, this was the catalyst.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, Thursday at this point apologizes for having lost Monday her finger and for not being better, but says that Karen was all of us and kind of their family. Whereas Monday kind of disagrees and is like, she says, I was the firstborn, Karen was always mine, and that the rest of the girls were just afterbirth, she says.
I know.
Which is, for 6 other people that came after you, is a pretty wild fucking drag on them. So that's some shit right there. That's some real shit talk for sure. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I know some firstborns, so fucking opinions,
but Monday's feelings for Thursday are probably particularly salty, and even just before that, she said, "Of all people, I figured that you would understand this." This being the incredible sacrifice that Monday is making of her family, right? She's just throwing back this pivotal moment in her life when Thursday forced her to sacrifice a fingertip, and we can see at that moment that it changed Monday forever. Like that's what happened to Monday, in addition to everything else that happened to Monday afterwards. In her life.
Very much so. And so, I mean, again, Monday's still got a gun sort of pointed at her, but it's kind of lowering it in this moment because there's an emotional back and forth between the sisters.
The weight of all of this is coming onto her.
Yeah, because she just learned that 4 of her sisters brutally died, and so Thursday takes this moment to sort of lunge and knock the gun out of her hand, and they begin wrestling on the bathroom floor.
Well, after being called afterbirth, that might rile one up,
And it's a very interesting, set. It's a very stark white and shiny and bright thing going on. It's very visually striking, I suppose I'll call out. Because,
You have these really contrasting moments of the urban squalor, but then the bright, clean spaces of the child Allocation Bureau.
Or the light of, I mean, the bathroom versus the dark of the server room, and then the gala thing too. It's like, I think that's a deep metaphor, but there's just a lot of, they are very different, and
also,
so it shows you when you're cutting rapidly, like what's going on.
In the bathroom, they're surrounded by mirrors too.
Yeah.
Mirrors in, like you were saying, like everything's white. They're the only thing of color in there.
It's well lit. They are now fully exposed finally, as who they really are. Which, ironically enough, they both look like Karen Setman when they're exposed in this way. So there you go.
Yeah.
they're both exposed as competing for the ultimate Karen Setman title.
So as they're wrestling on the bathroom floor, at the same time we see Kamen giving a presentation or event, showing that the numbers don't lie and that births are way, way down since the Child Allocation Act was introduced. This is where the chart comes in. It looks like births on the chart were about 1.5 million a year around the 2020s, and at 2030 we're spiking at about 2 million every year and climbing like pretty high. Sure. So as soon as the Child Allocation Act is introduced, it drops quite a bit and down to 400 to eventually around 100,000 a year, and has steadily dropped still. And so it succeeds. Like, this is a success. There's nothing you can say that's like, hey, this is not helping combat overpopulation. And so Adrian continues to one-man show things in server room defense. Like, again, we're cutting very quick here. It's like thing. And so we get that information. And if I hadn't paused on that chart, I might not have seen it so poignantly. But, like, this worked. Like, again, when it's talking about, like, sides or morality or whatever, morality versus reality is, like, this was working as a thing. And so,
during all this action, Nicolette Kamen is given a speech, like, basically kicking off her parliament run for parliament, and one of the images behind her is this graph where it's just we have a very clear graph. The line is way up here and then it's way down here, and so it's a grim solution, but it seems to be doing what it's supposed to do. So
she's running off her success, frankly.
So again, the film, it doesn't really. It doesn't really overly tell you what to think about this ethical dilemma. It just that, and that's really it. Exactly.
Well, we should be glad that Monday fucked some sort of Terminator, because Adrian does continue, like I said, to one-man show this. Like, he is very like, hiding behind a server, like, pop out, kill some people, do whatever.
Adrian is like some kind of combat savant or something. Like, for real, whatever training they get, he's supreme badass. Like, just clocking up like his mini like badass maneuvers and whatnot. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
Yeah, you're just a checkpoint guard. Like, wow, you are underutilized.
Right? For sure. Like,
damn, they could fire everyone else. For real.
Yeah, he's dispatching these people, because there's like 5 guards or so coming through, and he's doing great. They go back to the bathroom fight. It's vicious. The gun keeps being fought for. People's heads are being slammed into toilets. People are being kicked in the chest. Like, it's a knockdown, drag out fight. But then we go back to Kamen, a peaceful speech about how in order to bring a child into this world, you must be able to. And this is the first time we get a hint that there are like stipulations or things to meet. But she says you must be able to demonstrate financial stability and being able to care for the emotional and physical well-being of that child.
That's what she's proposing for her future legislative goals. It's not the current.
So that's
process.
true. But that's not evil. Frankly, as a statement, being able to financially and emotionally, or like provide for your child's well-being, like that.
Well, it is and it isn't.
It's classist, maybe. I guess.
Yeah,
like,
it was brutally fair before. Fair, brutal, but fair.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah,
and now
true.
it's being replaced with something more arbitrary, something more subjective. It seems to, like, the way I read this was like, especially at this moment of the film, and like this kind of sinister character's moment of ascendance, this seemed like an escalation of her agenda. Where it goes from something simple and easy to determine to something that is, like you said, classist at a minimum. Like, at a minimum,
oligarchy,
it's super classist,
helpful. So I don't disagree, but also just in that sense, like, the words she's saying or her goals, they're not amoral, or like they're not evil. Often,
but on the other hand, there's a logic to it. On some level of analysis, yes. This is the correct way of thinking about it. You want to bring a child into this world in a context and environment of financial stability and all this. Yes, of course.
Emotional, physical, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
you just want a child to have good well-being, and that's
it's like that is true, but is it the only truth? I think is the actual like question. It's not that it isn't true, but like is there a limit to the truth of it? You know, it's like,
and like, does that raise a good person? Not necessarily. That's just the world that they want to create, because you could be dirt poor, growing up awful, and still turn out to be a good person, but she wouldn't allow that to happen.
Yeah. Well, she probably has it in her vision that no, that would not happen.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what she wants.
But this, as we've seen for the last hour and 45 minutes up to this point, we see all the cracks of this society. So, it's...
And as society has presumably allocated food or whatever else based on people, this child is getting a shred of rat or something at night. And so it's like, these... I don't know. Again, they're not living in great conditions if they exist as like these secret siblings right now. So it is what it is. And we'll talk a whole bunch about this at the end. We're getting close to the end here. So Adrian and Joe's sidekick agent, the sidekick, because Joe is kind of Cayman's sidekick.
Yeah.
She doesn't get a name in this movie or like even a line, I feel like, but she's just there.
Joe has a black lady sidekick.
Fierce black woman that just doesn't do much besides fail and get shot in the head eventually. But so Adrian, sorry to foreshadow a few seconds ahead, but he overpowers the agent and shoots herself in the head with her own gun.
Yeah.
Monday and Thursday are struggling. We also hear a gunshot, but we're not shown who it hits. We only see Karen Setman emerge from the bathroom all put together and then go sit at a table near the front of Cayman's event.
Yeah.
This gets her a front row seat to the server room team, overriding the live feed and showing a video of the little girl being loaded in the cryopod and incinerated. Yeah. So Cayman kind of turns back and looks and is like, what are we watching now all of a sudden? And then does a little faint back into her guards for like a moment. She's back up on her feet pretty quickly. But she's very alarmed. The audience gasps and is alarmed. And she, in the microphone, says, they didn't suffer, which is a callback again to her line earlier where they're like, they're not going to suffer, knowing what happens to these kids. And then she sees Karen in the audience, and she storms over to her, rips her wig off in a very, drag queen fight.
She pulls that bitch's wig off. She snatches the wig right off her head.
Revealing her to be Thursday, because now we see the spiky hair, and we see who prevailed, sort of. And
but wig reveal, it's Thursday. Exactly.
And Cayman's says, what have you done? What have you done? Kind of really seeing ahead already, being like, if this agency falls, like I was like the one dam in between this and like extreme whatever, but we'll get there. Because we then see a bloodied and beaten Monday come into the room, though, wielding the giant gun.
Monday is not down, and this is another great moment, just like some really good just color symbolism. We have the outfit that Karen Setman Thursday is wearing, which is kind of dark navy blue, and then we have Nicolette Cayman's red dress and formal like gala wear, and then here comes Monday with the Karen Setman look, but a streak of red blood over her. She's kind of like the mix of both characters. She's like Nicolette Cayman's like dark ambition, but also she's one of the sisters still. She's still a Karen Setman,
It was also interesting when she's pointing the gun, it doesn't necessarily like show her perspective to see who she's aiming at, because Thursday and Dr. Cayman are right next to each other.
Yeah.
She points the gun in their direction, and before she can do anything, is shot by Joe.
Yeah.
Who is then shot by Adrian. A little chain effect there of things.
Yeah.
But
so it's not really clear who Monday was trying to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
don't know if she had a turn of heart and was going for Cayman.
We don't exactly know. There are two competing truths here, as has been the case this entire film. They're both potentially true. Yeah. So
pretty down. Most of the room flees. They're like, oh my god, there were gunshots flying. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. The plumbers from earlier were stone cold, and they weren't gonna run for anything.
Oh yeah.
But these people, they're not so.
So this leaves Tuesday and Thursday to rush to Monday's dying side as the guests flee the room because she has been winged in the side, seemingly something, but we get the vibe she's dying. And then we flash back to the night where the fingers were cut off, and we see little Monday. We get a flashback again to that exact moment where it's like, Monday, you got to be strong for your sisters. You got to be doing this. But then we see right after that a flashback we didn't see, which is little Monday hearing Terrence crying.
Yeah.
And she goes into his room, and he says he's so sorry and that he's just trying to protect them. And just that's what he was doing. I mean, he's very upset about it. But we see flash right back to Monday in the current as Monday clasps hands with Thursday. She says, promise me, don't let them take them. Don't let them take them. And then Monday moves the hand she's clutching with Thursday down to her stomach, seemingly insinuating that she is pregnant.
Yeah. Don't let them take them. Like, again, we still don't quite know what they mean. We think, is she talking about her sisters? Is she just delirious because she's dying?
Yeah, what do we?
What is she talking about? And then suddenly the entire film snaps into place, like what we've actually been seeing this whole time. It's kind of like a Kaiser Soze moment from Usual Suspects. Suddenly you realize that you were watching the wrong film, and now suddenly you know what you've been seeing. Everything that Monday's been talking about. She's pregnant. She had a love affair, and she got pregnant, and it forced this terrible dilemma on her. What does she do for her children? Mm-hmm. How can she keep living 1/7 of a life when she has children on the way?
If you're pregnant, that changes everything because the rest of your sisters aren't going to be pregnant.
Yeah,
the rest of your sisters can't fake this.
Yeah, exactly. But also, do you want to keep faking a life when you now have this very real thing to deal with, and you're in love? Like, do you keep living a life that you hate and you can't continue? And it's like, what do you do?
And we find out it's multiple children, and she has grown up as a multiple child, and so does she want to consign her children to this same weird underground Anne Frank lifestyle or whatever?
But when she's talking about the sacrifices that she made for her family and things getting out of control, and that she had no idea it was going to come to, we find out what she's really been talking about this entire time. And
as I brought up, it's a very interesting story point to me thematically, as her decision to have multiple children was inherently selfish in several ways, which resulted in getting many other people killed along the way, which is something that Kamen says, is if you have these multiple children, you're taking food out of their mouths, you're getting other people killed and stuff. It doesn't entirely jive with the message of the movie to me, but also it does, because again, like, it's a very...
We have this abstract dilemma of what do you do with all these people? And then with Monday, we have this very concrete dilemma. What do I do with all my sisters? Right? It's the broad, abstract ethical dilemma played out in a very specific setting. Right? Just kind of how these two meet up, right? Like how these two end up connecting and connect by way of this one character. You know, like she is right smashed between these two impossible dilemmas. You know, what she does is I guess kind of selfish, but I mean, she's doing it for her kids. You know, I mean, she's presumably doing this for her children. This entire film is about the crazy lengths that someone will go for their kids. That's what the entire film's about. And so I guess on some level, like we can kind of understand why she did it, but I mean, we had to see all these sisters die for it, and so it's the broad macro ethical dilemma wrought on a concrete micro level, right? Just everything that's been playing on society played out in this family.
I don't care who dies for my right to have a family and children, because that's ultimately what this is also about, is that if you are to have a family and have all these big families and stuff, you may have sacrificed others for death or, frankly, our species or certain things. And so it's trade-offs, it's ethical dilemmas. It's an interesting... It's why the film is, I don't know, a very thoughtful film.
Let's get to the final scenes of the film. Right?
Yes, okay. So I love these last 5 minutes or so of this.
Yeah.
We are shown a news broadcast now where we see that Federation-wide rioting has forced the repeal of the Child Allocation Act.
Yeah, society is risen up in disgust and revolt.
Yeah, they've had enough
about this, and so this ends the one-child policy.
This has pregnant women coming out of hiding. This has hundreds of siblings in
Yeah.
processing centers were released, not incinerated. Hooray, I guess. But without the repeal, these children would have been discarded or destroyed minutes after they were born, as we mentioned, of these pregnant women. And then we see Kamen make her way to the podium to make a statement. And I love this.
We see on the news Chiron that she's gonna be prosecuted for mass murder.
Yeah,
and
she's set for trial and
on the
facing the
death
death penalty.
penalty.
Yeah.
But she gives a grand defense of her vision and the consequences that she sees happening now that it has come to nothing.
So I have this written down. Kamen says, "This world is the only home you will ever know. So look around, ask yourselves, who will continue to make the difficult decisions that will ensure your survival? My regret is that your children will never know the world we could have built together. That hope is gone forever." And it's not even like it's such an odd way she carries herself in this, because she's not defeated. She knows that she's kind of right in a way, and especially from her perspective. Yeah. And she's like, you can get rid of me. Who's going to be the next person that makes these hard decisions, though? Because I was doing this for you guys.
Because no one wants to be the boogeyman either. No one wants to be the bad guy. I think a lot of people want to be liked by others, but she's not afraid to be the bad guy, to be the savior of humanity. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of her complex a bit, is she thinks she's better than others because she is doing what others will not do.
She fully believes that she has an infallible vision of what the future needs.
She knows the right way
to be, and maybe she's right. Mm-hmm. Maybe she's right. It's just that her means. Ooh,
it's macro versus micro. On a macro level, she probably is right. On a micro level, with all of these emotions, feelings, siblings, family, she's wrong to so many people, and that's where it becomes the dilemma: is your selfishness versus selflessness.
Her goal was perhaps admirable. Her means were terrible. But
let's talk about how this ends again. So we see two unborn twins, Monday's twins, in a sort of artificial birthing tube thing being observed by Thursday, Tuesday, and Adrian.
Yeah, so they save the fetuses.
Yeah, they didn't let them take them, as it were.
Yeah.
And Adrian remarks Tuesday has a nice new eye, and Tuesday says, "Oh, thank you, oh my god." And I go by Terry now, actually, which is cute. But
very cute.
Adrian then asks what he should call Thursday. And she responds, Karen Setment. She has adopted that,
she has assumed her place as Karen Supreme.
I was going to say Karen Supreme. Exactly.
Karen Prime.
Right.
Exactly.
Thursday, Karen remarks she did it all for the twins and that she wanted them to be safe, and Tuesday responds they will be. This is the moment I want to get to in this when we discuss the whole giant population thing. The end of this movie zooms out from the twins' little tube, and we are shown rows and rows and rows of incubators and columns of these babies.
Packed maternity ward full of newborn babies, just stacking them to the ceiling, basically.
Yeah, and
I was gonna say that scene did give me anxiety because this whole movie's been building up to what the consequences of overpopulation can lead to, of what unmitigated human just interaction can lead to if it's not changed. And at the end of the movie, we see the heroes, the Setman sisters, go through all of this to get change, positive change, to not have this just this mandate by the government, you can only have one child, or consequences. And now we zoom out, we got everything we wanted. The sisters' names are clear. There's no child allocation bureau anymore, but now we have the original sin again of overpopulation is going to be an issue. How many more people are going to die of starvation because of that we could have saved if we never got rid of this policy?
Yeah, we're just back to where we started.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it gave me so much anxiety.
It's a perfect ending to me because depending
Yeah.
on your outlook, this is either a very happy or a very bleak ending. Because if you're rooting for individualism and
Yeah.
babies, you did it. But if you think even for a moment about, again, the world that is, even with the One Child Allocation Act in place, and we saw the numbers way, way, way down, still crazy overpopulated, eating rats, all this stuff. And so they were close, maybe, to solving a problem because once you stop the babies, you almost have to stop them for a generation to really see like a benefit or like a change. And so it just is not. It's a very gray ending. It's very that and open for interpretation depending on what you think at the end of this.
Yeah, I mean it's a happy ending in that the characters that we, the audience, are most sentimentally attached to, I guess the ones that still survive, they kind of have a happy resolution, I guess. You know,
get to live.
Yeah, they're still alive. They're moving on with their
They're
lives.
outside.
They can now have their own individual lives.
Yep.
You know, like their saga has come to some kind of actual like better place, oddly enough, at the end of everything, right? And so, yeah, I guess it's a happy ending, but yeah, I mean, there is the society that, and like we get images of this constantly, just constantly throughout the film of what is at stake with this vast demographic dilemma, and the obvious ending is that it just will accelerate to the crisis point that it was at before, right? Like it's just, we got these two competing truths yet again, right? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, only a libertarian like whipping a shirt in the air going like, woo, is going to be happy at this movie at the end to kind of be like, haha, the government's off our backs, but like not really thinking further, which is a very libertarian mind of thinking of like not thinking beyond yourself.
But once again, by way of Glenn Close, we have these complicated double truths and dilemmas where we don't exactly know what is the real answer or what is the obvious answer or what is just apparent and unambiguous. It's even in the midst of this, like it was a happy ending, but not, I guess.
I mean,
you know,
is it a good ending in the way that people now get to have families? They have siblings that can grow up together and have experiences, be happy and have companionship like the sisters had? Or is it a bad ending because now the overcrowded planet will have another giant population boom that will now strain resources to a probably eventual breaking point, especially as the genetically modified food is presumably still resulting in high levels of multiple births here?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could contribute to the giant rows of babies there or something. But I mean, and speaking of that, think about the families that had multiple births and then had to hand all but one over.
Yeah, oh
like,
my God.
Because that would happen.
Yeah.
That would have been a very common thing is like, I have triplets, I have quadruplets. Which one do I pick? And then the rest, here you go, government. Like,
society, you know, humanity might survive, but at the cost of epic trauma, like trauma unimagined. I like what survives that. You know, we see the sisters not exactly surviving that. Like the weight of society changes you and can destroy you. And if the weight of society, even in the midst of a solution, is too much, then what is the real value of that solution? You know, like if humanity is broken emotionally, then what did you accomplish? You know, it's maybe an admirable goal, but those means were about as grim as possible. And so, I
mean, everybody but one in those litters of multiple births are literally toast.
Yeah.
At that point. So
let's talk about like themes and things now that we've reached the end of the film.
For sure. I think this movie, honestly, one of the biggest main ones we've already been talking about just now, like a lot of 2010s media, kind of focuses on overpopulation, and I called out a few that have that. I mean, Infinity War, Endgame, Inferno. I struggle to think of a few off the top of my head again, but it's a very poignant thing to think about for sure. And it kind of comes down, the movie does here, on the side of people having choice and siblings being the good option, but it's just not black and white.
I don't know if the film is really picking an option. I mean that ending is very dual natured.
Oh yeah, yeah,
For
and
sure.
I think
So
he did a good
it's-
job of
yeah.
showing both sides for sure in that. And I've got that in there. I mean, I love Glenn Close's last scene of monologue where the audience in universe planet audience is left with remarks essentially saying, if you boil down what she says and get the meaning behind her words, it says, "Well, I tried. Like, you guys fucked it up. You're gonna keep fucking it up, and don't have the stomach to ensure we don't fuck everything up." Essentially, she's marked for death, yet she holds her head high, knowing that despite running an extremely ethically dubious organization, she did it in her mind for very noble reasons, meant to preserve the species and the planet.
Yeah.
And we could also tell, she had the nightmare of the kids being exploded from the
volcano and like it all coming out in ashes and flame.
And at the very end, she keeps on saying they're telling me that they don't feel harm or anything. So we know that she isn't just outwardly callous to children or to others.
Yeah.
She's only callous when it's not following the law or like the order that she's put in.
Yeah, she's flinty and unyielding. She's not bloodthirsty. She's not cold-blooded, but she is determined and unyielding, and is maybe blind by this.
Yeah, because for me, I want her to be the villain so bad, but the world is so gray. Like, I want her to be a villain, but that's not the worst like a villain could be.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, her methodology, because we talk about this, and I mean just incinerating babies, because I've alluded to this several times. Have either of you seen or read Dan Brown's Inferno?
No.
Okay, so in the movie, what happens is there's a guy, and he has a virus that essentially is going to randomly sterilize a good chunk of the planet. And in the movie, they thwart it, and they're like, haha, we did it, yay. But in the book, what goes down instead is a lot more akin to Watchmen, where Dr. Langdon, played by Tom Hanks in the movie, is run around, and instead of solving things with art and, his little art degree, he's talking to the villain at the end, and the villain's like, oh my God, I'm not telling you this because, I'm going to do this. I've already done this. I've released the virus, and I've sterilized a third of the world's population, essentially. And you're left to grapple with that at the end, being like, is that bad? Because we were told in the story, essentially, overpopulation's happening. Bad, all these things bad happening. And it's like, is that cruel, frankly? Because incinerating babies, bad, cruel. You can, on a scale of things, is it that bad that certain people can't procreate, and yet it brings the world's curve of people down and resource consumption and all this? And it's like, is it bad that Thanos snapped 50% of the population away because all of a sudden the housing crisis is gone, the resource crisis is gone, the job market is not that competitive anymore because there's not just millions of people being born every day trying to usurp your job? And so, it's such a macro versus micro discussion in these things, because on the macro, most people would say these things are good, but on the micro, the further you drill down, you're like, bad. Like, this feels bad, this feels wrong or something. And so it's
as is frequently the case when you wish to apply broad ethical and political theories, right? The higher level, hey, that's nice. The low level where you're actually applying this on people, and I mean on people, on their bodies by way of physical force and coercion and whatnot, then the grim reality of theory becomes apparent, right? That it's like whatever words you are saying to explain this, what you are doing is violence against people. And so that's the disconnect. Those are the two competing truths. It's ground level versus sky level.
And what are we willing to sacrifice to get to those macro gains or successes, mind you? Because that's a big part of this movie. I mean, ultimately, Monday decides to sacrifice her wider family, her sisters, for her children. I mean, Nicolette Kamen decides to basically force sacrifice on a lot of people, which is what makes them rankle at it, because it's not a chosen sacrifice, mind you. It's not an opt-in program. This was a kick the door in, drag your children out, screaming, and then incinerate them. Not that they knew that, but
oddly enough, the choice that Monday makes, it parallels what society is doing. They're sacrificing the present moment for a future. And that's what Monday did. She sacrificed her present family for one that she was about to have. You know, like she did what society was telling her to do. And yet it was also selfish too. Like she was in an impossible position. She did the right thing and it was wrong. That's an impossible scenario.
I feel like she was willing to do whatever she needed to do selfishly in order for her family to succeed. So she was willing to kill everyone in her family, her sisters, for her family unit to succeed, just for that same cycle to possibly continue. Like, what's to say that her twins, would she have to, choose one to die? Would the other twin try to kill the other? If that's the cycle that is acceptable because society says it's fine, where does that end? How far can it go?
And it could have been a cycle for all we know, because we get very little backstory on the actual Karen Setman or on Terrence, and maybe he's redoing this again with these girls. Maybe she sacrificed something in that regard, because he seemed pretty knowledgeable about all these things, and so it could be left that way, just to be like, perhaps it is cyclical. Perhaps it is like people are making selfish decisions or familial decisions versus societal decisions in that
exactly. Like the mother of these children is not in the film, except alluded to and referenced, and so. Yeah, like what a decision to have 7 children in that day and age, right? It's certainly it's rebellious for sure. It is definitely a bold decision for sure. And in thinking about like towards the end of the film, with Thursday taking on the final Karen form, like she becomes Karen once and for all. It actually seemed right and appropriate, right? The Monday we watch this film and we're thinking Monday's the one who's most like Karen Setman. She's serious, she's business, she readily she adopts the look the most easily, but she's the least like Karen Setman, as we can guess, because no one following the rules would have 7 children in this world. Thursday's the one who's most like Karen. She's the rebel. She's the one who breaks rules and doesn't do what she's told, exactly like her mother. Maybe not known to her, but like we pick up on this as the audience.
Yeah, for sure.
At the very end, like yes, she deserved to be Karen this entire time. So but and also as I think I mentioned before, like the idea of 7 individual people living under one identity. It's a great way of thinking about like conformity and an oppressive society and trying to find one's personhood, but only being able to do so in secret spaces and whatnot. And,
well, the film, it explores the struggle for individuality in a society that seeks to control and homogenize its citizens.
Yeah.
And we see that through their creativity and their fashion indoors, and whatnot. But I mean, their desperation to create a unique identity is a pretty central theme in that regard.
Yeah, and ironically enough, because everyone in this world is technically unique. No one has a sibling. Everyone's unique, right? But in the most grim way possible. And so within their secret space, they try to do this the right way. They try to be an individual, unique person for good, for flourishing, for beauty and joy and whatnot. And so, it's quite a contrast.
Perhaps, that's where all of us are most ourself is in our own house. Out there in the world, we have to conform to rules and laws and society. But once you're in the own sanctity of your own home, those societal rules don't apply to you. So you can be your truest form of yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You say, I don't care what you say, mirror. I'm home. I'm taking my wig off.
or you can at least try to. And arguably the sisters don't succeed at it. Like they maybe in some ways can't fully be their authentic selves, right? Like Sunday's death, it was the most like poignant example of this, but like we find that Saturday was a virgin. Like it's like none of them could really be like fulfill even the narrow identities they carved out for themselves. It's just that kind of desperate struggle. So
I do think it's interesting how at the end Cayman's vision shifts to being again brutally fair to somewhat more oligarchical things, because poverty and the right to exist are also a big theme of this movie. Do you deserve to exist? I mean, or be able to make a family if you're poor and stuff. And I mean, of course, is the answer, the most humanitarian, the most correct answer in that. But yeah, in a world where they are ripping malnourished children out of slums and things, it is at least easy for the Adrians of the world, or for anybody that has eyes on the situation, to be like, this probably is really not the best for these kids or something. And I mean, we see this with child services or whoever else, or I mean, a lot of the people you may not personally want to procreate heavily are often out there just fucking it up and pumping out babies and putting all ideas in their heads that you may not want or something. There's a lot of movements out there that are frankly very pro just crank those babies out. And in our world, again, where there's millions of people being born a day, that's not great on some level, but again, you're at a very like back and forth. Like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it bad for you, but it's good for them because they're getting so much out of this in a family? Like, it's macro versus micro. Again, it's
it's a real dilemma, and all the ways that we have to address it involve moral hazard. Like, we just can't escape moral hazard. No. And it's so kind of like Monday, we are in an impossible position. Mm-hmm. How do we decide this? It seems to be impossible. Yeah, and if you do the right thing, you're wrong.
Yeah,
like
100%.
What? Like, how do you get out of this? And I don't know if this film really gives an answer. Honestly,
no,
I don't think it does. Yeah,
because you can make the selfless decision for yourself and say, like, I'm not going to have kids, but it doesn't matter when the neighbors next to you have like 12 kids or something. And so that's where Glenn Close is coming from. Is like,
yeah.
No, but really, guys, like, we all have to maybe like chip into this because we as a species need to survive. This
really
it's like,
is, it's a society level problem.
Yeah,
it's not evil on the face of it, on what she wants, but it is.
Again, like, what means don't involve moral hazard, and
right.
I don't know if this film discovered them, and I don't know what they are. If you were to really press me, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know.
No,
and that's what you have to be comfortable with, is that the world is gray, and we just have to assign our own morality or what we can live with in the situation that's handed to us.
Because any of these, and granted, most of them are dystopian or YA or something solutions. A lot of these have covered overpopulation. But another one, a book series I love called Scythe, they essentially create an AI so powerful it runs the world perfectly. But because of that, they're all living longer, and there's too many of them, and they delegate to the humans, this little group of Scythe people. They're like, you have to decide who we're going to kill on the planet. So you can have something like that. You can have, we're great, but humans decide to be killed. You can have this with the old baby incineration, or you could have the one I talked about with Inferno, where it's like, we randomly sterilize some of you to try to keep the curve down, or Thanos, we just kill half of you, mind you. And
boy, you really, I hadn't really picked, you picked up on this, the 2010s, boy, there were a lot of like eliminationist fantasies going on. Like, this was a decade just rife with this, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a very real, and it remains a sort of like on the mind and the brain crisis and stuff. And so, like I said, I doubt this is like near the last we'll see of this theme come up. But when you look at all those, again, none of those are paths that you're like, we should go down this path, because they're all fraught with moral issues and with impressing, maybe your will upon your neighbors or whatever else.
At a minimum, like, it's if not even worse. And so so there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did we touch on everything? Did we?
I think we're pretty good. I've got cast and crew trivia and gayest straightest moment left.
Yes. Okay. So trivia. What's some good trivia?
All right. So there really wasn't a lot about this. I went through several interviews. Like, it just wasn't one of the biggest movies, frankly. Again, it kind of skated by people not having a theatrical release, and it's only been out for 8 years, I guess, as a Netflix film. So
I think it's a real hidden gem. I think it's great.
I think it's great. Yeah. So I mean, I recommend it, of course. But this was shot entirely in Romania across 94 days. As I mentioned, it was released theatrically in Europe and Asia, while Netflix distributed it in the United States, UK, and Latin America on August 18th, 2017. The main characters for this in the script were originally male. When the director, Tommy Wirkola, eventually met with the producer, he told her he loved the world, style, ideas, and themes, so he agreed to do it if he could do it with a female lead. And the screenplay was then rewritten completely for Numi Rapace. Messed that up. But, so that's interesting on its face. We've had a lot, 7 men running around with their little things. But I think I think it was better with a woman, frankly.
I think so. I think with a woman versus a man, I think a woman perhaps shows a little bit more fragility within society. Also, women are the ones that produce life, and I think there's a life
pregnancy
theme
bit for
here.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the things that was rewritten. And it is different seeing a woman get bloodied, beaten, and thrown around versus a man often, which is just par for the course for a lot of American cinema.
And I don't know if the film would have had as much like heart.
Yeah, I agree.
With a male lead, and I can imagine some very good male leads, and I think it would have been more difficult. It would have been a much more difficult directorial feat to get a male actor to convey enough emotional power. This is just kind of an intuition. I hope that I'm wrong about this, but
the logo for the Child Allocation Bureau, the cab, is stylized so that it can also be read as God. I didn't pick up on that one, but it's interesting. The name Setman, this one would have gone completely past me, almost sounds the same as an Italian word, settimana, which means week in Italian.
I was wondering, like, Setman has 7 letters. I was wondering if maybe in a Latin-based language, if like those translated to like the days of the week or something, it's like it's kind of close.
It's there. So
okay.
For the majority of the film, Noomi Rapace had to act alone and against herself. Quote.
I can't imagine that.
The production used stand-ins and over-the-shoulder shots whenever possible, but it still required extraordinary dedication. The director said it was about supporting her and also trying to make her forget about the technique at all. We're doing a lot of green screen and motion control, and she has to act against tennis balls and markers, and that can be very tiring.
No way.
I don't think I've ever seen a film that does one actor doing identical twins better than this film.
I've never seen anything so good.
Nails it. I've never seen it as convincing.
Well,
as
it calls
this.
to mind Sinners for me, because that's the recent one with Michael B. Jordan playing twins.
I think they do it better in this one.
Oh well, I mean they literally.
Sinners is an excellent film, but I just, as far as like the one actor playing 6, 7, amazing.
Even
like,
8 if you count Karen, but So no, I mean obviously it's multiples more than Michael B. Jordan had to do. Again, great performance.
If you count Karen, that's actually like twice as many characters, because they're all.
I know.
It's her playing the character playing Karen.
Like I mentioned, it's like Thursday playing Monday playing Karen or something at one point, and you're like, okay.
So watch this film for no other reason than watching Noomi Rapace's performance. It's really good.
Each character, each sister is a completely different archetype. They look different. They sound a little bit different. Like, my hat is totally off to this actress, because she does such a fantastic job. I can see the mannerisms of every single sister change in every single scene.
Really?
So she describes it as the hardest thing she's ever done, but she details the physical and emotional demands of each role, including using different perfumes, music, and alone time to inhabit each character. She also worked with a stunt team to develop unique fighting styles for each sister, which is interesting. And you can see that in the movie.
Exactly. The Wednesday had a far more athletic style.
Oh yeah.
And Thursday was far more scrappy. And absolutely.
So good.
Yeah.
The director, Tommy Wirkola, explains the film's dystopian setting with its themes of overpopulation, one-child policies was meant to feel very close to reality. He emphasized the use of real-world footage in the opening montage to ground the film in a believable near future. And he did it. He nailed it. So.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's...
I covered one of the goofs, again with the one being like, this is Tuesday's eye, being like, we're all identical DNA, so whatever. But another notable goof that really threw me in this film, especially as I'm like going minute by minute and analyzing it, was that explosion with Friday, the whole giant like apartment and floor blowing up. The explosion blows up a group of cab officers across the corridor, engulfing them in flames, including Joe, who was like, he was there. He's like outside the door cocking his pistol, like, here I go. And then he's immediately back downstairs unscathed with Friday's body just being charred and being like, it's me, Fireproof Joe.
I thought that seemed like a flub, because it sure seemed like he got engulfed in flames.
Well, what it looked like to me is the fact that he was going up to the door. The door is what saved him.
I suppose.
Maybe.
The walls around where all the other cab employees were got obliterated, but because he was behind a solid wood door, that helped protect him from the explosion.
Still,
a little bit
though, I
more.
think he should have looked like banged up. And,
exactly.
He should have a dent mark in his face from the door, I guess.
At our
Nothing
most
else.
charitable, all he had was like the little slash from the car thing earlier, and I was like, "You've been through a little more than a wreck in the
Yeah.
past
Yeah.
hour or two, buddy." But sure, whatever. So who knows how that shook out or was, but it was. So.
If we're talking about flubs, I did think when what was it, Thursday and Friday, we're going down the fire escape, and they blasted through the mirror wall. On the other side was nothing. That
a
was
blank apartment.
A blank apartment. I was like, that is a missed opportunity on them to just expand. Like, if you have seven siblings, I'm taking over the empty ass apartment on the other side of this rickety ass wall. Like, I will manifest destiny this apartment complex.
Maybe that was in the plans when she got her promotion Monday. They were going to absorb the next apartment complex over. But
That's an awfully neat apartment too for seven people living in it too. Like not junked out, not a just total wreck. Like,
brawls everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. So, all right. So let's see. Gayest, straightest moments.
Sure. Okay. My gayest moment of this movie was Thursday's hair or whole vibe. You just know Karen the lesbian has been set free into the world now. Like.
We're getting lesbian realness from Thursday, perhaps, or just like very tomboy,
right?
Sure.
And she even has a finger without a fingernail now. Like she's gonna be so popular in the lesbian community.
Oh my, yes. Ooh, yeah.
My straightest moment is the unrelenting sea of children the world is awash in because the straights will kill us all. Mark my words. Which goes back to I think your question, Tommy, of like we didn't just like mass manufacture condoms or something at first, or just like enforce vasectomies or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
birth control. What? I mean, like, come on,
sneaky straights kept getting around it and just getting more.
I mean, like, why aren't they giving out birth control like candy? Like, come on, like they have sterilization vans and lines wrapping around the block for them. Like,
at this point, it has to be government subsidized.
Yeah.
Like you need to take your morning abortion pill.
It's
or
not even
something.
a Nova ring in 2073. It's an Olva ring, but you're still not taking it. What are you doing?
Yeah, I just that was the one thing that I was just okay, come on, really, like giant kid size ice cubes seems like an extreme answer to this. Like, okay, anyway,
right?
Yeah,
many cryopods.
Okay. I have a nomination for gayest moment. Gayest moment is getting dick and it turning your life upside down, like because it's just like it's the best dick you ever had, and so you're gonna kill your sisters. You're gonna you're like good dick will make you slap someone. It will.
It is funny that the cop guy, he's fucked two sisters. Like
at least
exactly.
He's working his way through sister septuplets. That's the straightest moment. Right there.
It's probably Thursday.
It is the
it's
dream,
who's next.
yeah.
He's like, all right, I got
You guys have
Tuesday,
twins,
I got Monday. Let's go Thursday next. Like it's the only one available.
This guy's a sleaze bag. He's not even trying.
No,
like,
exactly.
He's not even trying to be. Yeah, poor guy.
He was affectionately choking Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Once again, sleaze bag
Choking
wasn't trying to be. Wasn't trying to be at all.
As soon as she said no, he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Informed consent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he's very considerate. He stopped immediately.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought you liked that. I'm so sorry. Like,
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's also has great combat prowess, so there you go. Like
He did have a nice butt in his sex scene too.
Yeah, he's tall, strapping. Yeah, exactly.
it was a hairy keister, but yes, he was.
He's kind of the perfect guy. Now that we're just like listing this, like, he's kind of a perfect guy. Wow.
Mr. Mustache slinging dick to whoever needs it. Yeah, he is community dick for this family.
He is.
Future's not all bad. So there you go. Good. We've socialized dick.
Oh boy. Okay, let's knock out cast and crew a bit and probably get out of here. We've kept you for a while.
Yes.
I don't know if a robot will pronounce it better. Noomi Rapace she is known, aside from this movie, for being in the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo trilogy movies.
Yeah,
which,
that's right. Yeah.
In a world of reboots coming entirely fast, it upsets me that the first Girl with the Dragon Tattoo movie came out in 2009, and then Daniel Craig and Rooney Mara came out in 2011 with David Fincher. And it's like, well, why? I guess, like, wait a decade, do something. But she, Noomi played Elizabeth Salander, I believe, in all the trilogy of the original one. And she's also known for being Prometheus in 2012 quite a bit as an important character. She was in the Robert Downey Jr. and Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes, one of those. And she tends to pick action and sci-fi movie projects. That's
she was in Sherlock Holmes. That's right. Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah, okay.
But, I mean, again, just to harp on it, she played 7 characters in this movie. And in a recent comparison to Draw, as I mentioned, Michael B. Jordan playing Twins and Sinners, I mean, he got great acclaim for that role. And again, deservedly so. He did a great job. But when you literally multiplicatively have to make that harder...
7 is more than 2.
Yeah.
It's just,
it is.
There's that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So she's just great. She's got a whole big batch of films if you'd like to go see her. Again, they're very action and sci-fi leaning for the most part, but she's good in it. She knows her niche. You know, the Kate Beckinsales, the Mila Jovoviches of the world. You know, sometimes you just have a badass, short-haired woman going on, and so then pick the sci-fis and the actions to.
Other notable characters, of course, Glenn Close and Willem Dafoe.
Yes. Of course, we know and love Glenn, and we detailed her very awarded, but not Oscar-awarded career on the Fatal Attraction episode. She, as a brief recap, is one of the top 5 most Oscar-nominated actresses in Academy history and holds the records for most times nominated without receiving a win at 8. So,
yeah. The other actors I'm not familiar with, so this would be the first time I've seen them in films. Adrian, played by, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Marwan Kenzari.
Yeah, that's how I read that. He's a Dutch actor, so I mean, again, not a straight from us. He's known for the Aladdin reboots, The Old Guard, which just had a sequel drop on Netflix itself, and Black Adam. He has 36 acting credits, and he's been in the game since 2008. He was also in the new Mummy movie, the one we did not cover yet, and that one day I dread we will have to cover. But, so I'll see you then, Marwan, I guess. But
yes.
I hear it is not that great, unfortunately. But,
seemed a little bit more serious than the original. Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, let's touch on him, I guess. You mentioned him. He's a very recognizable face for most.
Yes.
He's known for his most beloved and oft-memed performance as Norman Osborn as the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. He's also known for The Lighthouse, where he and Robert Pattinson just bounce off each other, quite literally.
That's a great film. Oh, jeez.
He also, I mean, we talked about Bill Murray and his affinity for Wes Anderson. He's also in a lot of Wes Anderson movies. He's in Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Budapest Hotel, Asteroid City. He voices somebody in Fantastic Mr. Fox. And he also voices the gruff and a scarred angelfish named Gil in Finding Nemo that rules the dentist tank office. You need to throw back to that, but he has a lot. He currently has 156 acting credits, and he's been nominated for Best Supporting Actor 4 times between 1987 to 2019.
Got a lot of great credits too. Didn't mention Boondock Saints.
My God, that's right. He plays is it full trans or just cross-dressing, I guess, detective in that movie?
Yeah, it's another great film. Very, very complicated character.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't completely delve into it in that, but that's great. Yeah, I love him in that. His supporting actor ones he got nominated for were At Eternity's Gate, which I believe is a Van Gogh biopic, The Florida Project, Shadow of the Vampire, and Platoon.
Oh, The Florida Project, yes. Yeah, that's a great film, and he is excellent in that. The Florida Project, Yeah, that's a great film and somewhat recent too. Highly recommend that one actually. Of all the, and it's so recent too. Yeah, check out Florida Project.
I think that's about the same time this movie came out, like 2017ish. He also played a sort of similar role to this one and What Happened Monday in Poor Things, a recent great film with Emma Stone.
Yeah.
I almost said Watson. I wrote down Watson, but that's wrong. No, Emma Stone. But he plays sort of a father figure-ish who's also, a bright man and is clever. Yeah. It's interesting we don't get his demise in this movie. Like, I guess he may
No,
have just
not at
died
all.
of old age, but we really just
Yeah.
don't hear anything about him.
I think the assumption is that he dies of old age. Yeah,
And I think that's totally fine because the story isn't about him and his daughter's relationship or society. We just need him in the movie to kind of help set where and how Karen Setman began.
Yeah.
Just how could this possibly happen?
Yeah.
Like, how can this be possible?
I just wonder if it ended up on the cutting room floor, because it does seem like almost a waste to not use his either passing or him being like taken by the agency or something, where the girls are then on their own a bit, and
that'd
like
be a
it
huge
sort of
story, too.
pushes them into it. But
Yeah.
I'm not like mad at it. I mean, it's again some movies just don't choose to touch on things or address them or don't have time. So it's
Well, I mean, this one is just right at 2 hours, so that
Right.
that content would just one make the film even heavier too.
Yep.
Geez, so it's probably better that they kind of kept him in like the more like wistful, nostalgic flashbacks. Because he's dead because he's not there, and so it's just I don't know. The film doesn't need any more gravity.
No,
Yeah.
it's very serious and has lots of grim moments in it. So, yeah.
And I mean, in the theme of not getting a name until a long time into the movie, it's not until Glenn Close is like lecturing Tuesday or somebody and is like, your grandfather, Terrence Setman, where he doesn't fucking get a name on screen for so long. So him and Glenn Close have very small parts in the movies, again, like I said, relatively, but they have such impactful things and they're such good characters in it. And so,
it's all very well acted. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Claire Reed played the young Setman girls, just 5 acting credits under her belt total. But I mean, she's young for one, and what a neat role to have played 7 siblings herself. Like she also had to play this. Game Numi did so. Yeah. And then the last one I have here, Tommy Wirkola. He is the director. He's known for this movie largely, and he directed a duology called Red Snow, or Red Snow 2, Red vs. Dead. He's a Norwegian director with 10 directed film credits under his belt to date. For the look and feel of this film, he cited a variety of inspirations from Blade Runner to Looper to Children of Men to the films of Paul Verhoeven. But my most favorite note about Tommy Wirkola, and where we'll end this episode, I guess, because he made his new cast and crew last, his most recent credit of directing comes from 2024 from a film called Spermageddon. And fear not, listener, of course I got you more info on this movie. I couldn't just leave you with that. This is an animated film that has 2 narrative threads. Whoa. One is an emerging love story between 2 awkward teens, John and Lisa, who are having sex for the first time, and the other is an eventful quest of Simon the Seaman and his friends to reach the golden goal of the egg.
Oh my God.
All right, Simon.
So, if that doesn't intrigue you or send you off to go see Tommy Wirkola's Spermageddon, then...
Well, we'll be reviewing Spermageddon for our next film. Yeah, I don't know.
Put it on the list.
Maybe we should.
We'll throw it on the list.
Yeah. Exactly.
Reading the synopsis fucking tickled me to death earlier today. Like, that's just sometimes when I'm scrolling people's IMDb page, I'm like, hang on, let's scroll back to that one.
Well, no one's typecasting Tommy Wirkola. That's for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, very good.
Well,
all right. Wade, thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Of course. Thanks for allowing me to come on and talk about a movie that I found on Netflix I loved a lot and got to share with you guys.
Yeah. Great recommendation. I loved it.
So anything you want to
appreciate it.
plug, any social media, any projects coming up, any things you're doing on your side of the world?
For me, myself, no, not really. I kind of live in the shadows like the Karen Setmans.
The Fridays of the world.
Yeah. I walk among you, but I don't have much of a presence online.
I personally try to go outside once a week. That's all.
I know. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Get sunshine on my skin for like 30 minutes
sure.
and call it a
What
day.
dystopia?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
I get to stay home 6 days of the week.
Wow.
Sick.
Score.
Yeah,
Oh no. Jeez.
No. Oh, shoot.
I get a nice rat flank to eat on. Like,
Sign me up.
sign me up.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, this was a really good and fun time. So thanks for having me on.
Oh, excellent. Well, we loved having you on. Is that right?
For sure. We hope you had a great time walking through this dystopic nightmare with us, where children are incinerated and pets are not to be seen. So
Because they're food.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
they're eating the cats.
Wow,
They're eating the dogs.
I didn't notice that until now.
No, yeah.
Well, that's our show, everyone. Try not to eat your pets. Wow. All
Well, in 2073, get ready for a nice fat Norwegian rat. And
Yum.
right. Anyway, my name's Tommy.
I'm Kyle, and this has been Wade with us.
Yes.
We will see you next time.
Till next time, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.